Hello everybody, this is Marcus Toole. It is April 27th and I am in my home orchard. And today I want to talk about some of my grafting projects I have going on this year. This is the part of the orchard where the most newly grafted trees are located. This area here, I was in the last few years growing chili peppers in here, and I have transitioned it over the plums. Now of course there are a lot more little sapling plum trees growing in here than the space can hold long term, but when I'm introducing new varieties to my orchard through the way of grafting, I always graft way more than I plan to keep, and I sell the extras. And in this little area right here, kind of close to the Sunny's Yellow, most of the trees are a variety called Segundo. And this one between the poles is a Segundo grafted on a Tools heirloom. And that's the one that's in between the poles, because I have some screening around it to protect it from deer. That's the one I want to keep. And I'm actually going to, this fall, transplant it to where that basket is. That's where I actually wanted to add the plum tree. It's a little bit more centrally located between that big Sunny's Yellow tree, a seedling over there. You can see the little bamboo stake there. This drag queen plum tree. And over here, what we have is it's going to be another Segundo tree. And then over here, which used to be an Odom, this has Ruby Sweet newly grafted into it. So this spot is much more central than that spot is in there, and so eventually that tree is going to be moved. That's assuming I keep it. I'm not sure I'm going to have 3 Segundos. If I may decide to go with just 2, if I go with just 2, I'm going to plant something else there. There's a lady that has a big old improved Chickasaw plum in her yard in North Carolina, and she is offering to send me a sucker from it, and it may actually take this spot instead. There's all sorts of reasons why I might do that, but I will make that decision come fall. This is a black ruby. This little tree needs to be moved over a little bit to get a little bit further away from the Sunny's Yellow. And the reasons why it's there, it's lots to do with others. We graft several ones, and then one takes and the other that's in a better spot did not take. Similar, this little patch here, most of these are Ruby Sweet. And I'm going to keep one of these two, and the spot that they're located in is okay, but I might actually keep that one instead. So you never know. This little row here is a black ruby, and I don't really plan to keep any of these trees. I plan to sell them. And then there's a row of Byron Gold. And same deal, I don't plan to keep any of those trees. I plan to sell them all. And then in the very back is a Robusto that I plan to sell. So that's kind of the grafting project back here. This is a graft I did last year of Robusto, and this tree is doing very well. There's a wild plum there that may be a bit too close, but that's okay. It's just the wild plum. And if it gets shaded out, it gets shaded out. Then we got the Sunny's Yellow. That's going to be pruned back. I'm not going to let it stay as big as it is. This tree has a bumper crop on it. There was some questions early on, up until this year, about how productive this plum tree is actually going to be. Because other people who have it haven't recently had a lot of production from it, but I think in every case the issue has been pollination, and this year the tree has gotten very well pollinated in my yard, probably more than it has anywhere, and of the people who have it. So it's a large yellow plum. It's kind of tart, very popular with my customers, and it's going to have a really big crop this year. Next to it is this is one we're calling Flea Market. This tree is acting like it's not going to ever get very big, which is okay. It doesn't have a spot with room for a big tree, and this thing makes big red plums, really good. Very early. It's my second earliest tree. Pretty much ripens fruit with Mariana, very early blooming. And over here, this is not a graft, this was a root sucker, Ridgeland. I have a Ridgeland up in the front yard or side yard that's excellent fruit on Ridgeland. So let's kind of mosey around. Now I'll show you some of the other grafts I've got going. Oh yeah, the Odom, I mentioned it. That's I should have talked a little bit more about the Odom before I got distracted on other things. Well, it was an Odom, the big tree is. I have grafted into it Ruby Sweet. So we'll have 2 Ruby Sweets back here. And this one should produce, a year or 2 earlier than the one that's, just a graft on a baby rootstock. And the reason I grafted Odom over to Ruby Sweet is because Odom just isn't a very tasty plum. It doesn't have much flavor to it, in my opinion, and nor has it ever been very productive. And so I'm hoping, and Ruby Sweet is supposed to be a good pollinizer of other varieties. So anyhow, it's a commercial variety. It's one that should take our climate very well. And I figured that this would be a plum that would not only be productive, but the plums will be high enough quality that they'll be easy to sell. Okay, now let's go to the other part of the orchard. This is an exceptionally good plum year for me. Many of the trees, in fact, nearly all the adult plum trees have big plum crops. Tools Heirloom doesn't have a huge crop, but it has enough. Here's another Ruby Sweet. This is one that I'm going to keep, and I won't keep it in that spot. It's kind of close to that pear tree, but that's okay. It's far enough away to be all right. And we got this is a Byron Gold that I plan to keep. And the Byron Gold and the Ruby Sweet are both on this Ridgeland Plum. Ridgeland Plum is a great plum in itself, but I use Ridgeland rootstock just so that this area here, any suckers that come up will be Ridgeland. Well, my camera's running low on power, so I'm gonna have to say goodbye for now and talk to you later. Thanks. God bless.